came to meet her.
Oh.
Yeah, we used to be pen pals. We long lost brother and sister.
Okay.
We grew up in an orphanage together. We used to have a little song we made and everything. Brother and sister.
And now we're dead.
Nah. I originally
French descendants, right? French.
I came up here in 2015 to work at the gas plant in Beulah.
Okay.
And I had a 2-year midlife crisis.
Okay.
And here I am.
Awesome.
A pillar to the community.
Nice.
Yep.
Already. That's good time.
You can see me? I need to scoot this way. How's it going, folks? Dun, 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 dun. Welcome to another episode of Sober Talk with Brother Brandon, the Raging Cajun. It's the weekend, baby. Man, I hope everybody's having a beautiful week, a beautiful end of their week, and the weekend is here. But I hope everybody stays safe and that everything is going fine. But tomorrow, public service announcement. If you hear this, tell everybody. Tomorrow, we will be broadcasting live from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. at the Kirkwood Mall in front of the Five Below store. So if anybody's looking for me, I'll be there. And also, we're going to have new merch, new logos. We're going to have the bikes there from the raffle. We're going to be pulling for the raffle, and we're still selling raffle tickets. All raffle tickets proceeds go to Sober Talk events and North Dakota prisons, jails, treatment centers, and in the community. I had the pleasure this morning of going out to Prairie Recovery Center. And that's my people out there in St. Gertrude. And it was a great experience being able to go give them some hope. You know, the whole staff out there, Steph, Dave, the whole crew, and all the people that's in there are either more but you're still alive. And if you're still alive, God ain't done with you. I want to give a special shout out to Tied for Second, Sober Living. Beds are available. To New Freedom Treatment Center. I am alumni of New Freedom Treatment Center. That's the first place I walked into almost 7 years ago. And first time I ever said, I need help. and I got some help. Shout out to Jay Dobo, the leading spice in the land. I seen him today. He had a truck loaded down with supplies to go mix up some more Pride of Dakota. If you ain't sneezing, it ain't seasoning, folks. Also, shout out to my brother Jake, Mr. Extraordinaire himself. Check out his book. You can look at his website. You can follow him on any social media platform, or you can go on Amazon and get a copy of that book. Well, I want to give a special shout out to Daily Love, Derek Daly. You know what I mean? The scientist behind the scenes. You know, he'll pay your rent, your light bill, but he's a great guy. And I wish when I die, I want to resurrect as Derek Daly. But I got some special guests in the house. I got my lovely fiance, Teresa Marie. And we have a special guest. So introduce your guest that you suggested.
Amber.
Amber Bowl. How's it going, Amber?
Fabulous.
Well, you look fabulous. I get to see God coming out your pool.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I got some special gifts. I have a Tied for Second t-shirt. Shout out to Tied for Second. That's for you.
Thank you.
I have the official beanies. And if you come to Kirkwood Mall tomorrow, I'll have all different colors and flavors. That's for you. And then the new cream hoodies.
Woo-woo!
We got all kind of different designs. And this is for you.
Awesome. Merry Christmas to me.
Yep. And
thank you.
On behalf of New Freedom Center, I got this stretch ball for you.
Thank you.
And I got some Sober Talk stickers for you.
My goodness, I'm out of hands right now.
Also,
kind.
Shout out to Preferred Heating and Air. They're always showing Sober Talk love. But these are all yours.
Thank you.
You can have one of these bottles of original J Dobo.
Perfect.
You can put it on popcorn, corn. You can lick it out your hand. You can put it on meat, fish, whatever is required.
Wonderful.
Also,
Did you?
do you like to read books?
I do. I
Okay.
do.
Well, this is a copy of my best friend from New Orleans that we grew up together, Jake Lawson. This is his first book. So this is your copy.
Thank you. Thank you.
So how was your day?
I am so excited to be here and grateful. God put me on this earth for another day. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So I see you got a shirt on. What does it say?
Haven Hills Foster Care Community.
Okay.
I'm the founder and CEO of Haven Hills.
Oh, good time.
Talk a little bit, just a peon when it comes to it, but I have an entire board that is fantastic and phenomenal.
Okay.
They keep me in line. So
Well, I'm glad they keep you in line. Board, good job. So how long have you been in foster care? I mean, associated.
Yep. So my husband and I are on our 7th year.
Okay.
Had just over 90 kids come through our home in those 7 years. Most of them being
Like
teenagers.
your actual home?
My actual home, yeah.
Do you get a lot of repairs on your house?
We do. Absolutely. Funny you ask. Yep. Had an 18-year-old who came and just broke my kitchen sink off. So
Yep.
yeah. Well, learn. My husband is he's a diesel mechanic, but he's very handy when it comes to things needing to be fixed. So yeah.
I see that. So where are you originally from?
I'm from Center,
North Dakota.
Yep, Center, North Dakota.
Yeah.
25 miles from here, 30 miles from here.
Yeah, Highway 25.
That's right. Drove it many times. Yep.
Yeah, you can go to the truck stop and get you what's that little restaurant? What it used to be called?
Rolling Hills.
The Rolling Hills.
Yep.
You can go get your gravy melt or something like that.
Duck dish. Yep.
Yep. So you're original North Dakota woman.
I am. Yes.
Okay.
Went to college in Minot, met my husband, and then we went to Fargo for 10 years.
Okay. So have you ever like dreamed of being a foster parent, or like how did that even come into play?
Yeah, it was God. God, 110%. Different milestones in my life. I was kind of like the town babysitter, and just always loved to.
Duly noted.
I always loved just being around the kids and taking care of kids. And I taught Sunday school in high school, and I was a volleyball coach in high school or assistant, and just always enjoyed being with the youth. And then we went to Fargo, and we have a 22-year-old son and a 19-year-old daughter, and I lost a child at 24 weeks gestation. And I knew God wasn't done. God put me on this earth definitely to be a mother.
Amen to that.
So our house in Fargo had flooded in 2010. We moved back to Bismarck to be closer to family. My husband's from the Minot area. And 2015, we had a house fire. Lost our house. So there was many times I kind of was throwing up the white flag, like, hey, what's going on? What did I do to upset you, right?
Right. Did everybody get out safe?
Yeah, we were actually gone. We were actually camping. And I thought it was a prank call when it came in because it was the sheriff that had called and said, he's like, do you live on such and such address? And I said, I do. Remind you, I'm up camping with my family. And then he said, do you have kids? And I was like, well, time out. Whatever you're selling, you don't bring my kids into this conversation, right? Right. So then he explained he was the sheriff and the house was on fire. So do I know where my kids were?
What was the cause of it?
It was my husband is a mechanic and he was painting auto body stuff. And he had I don't really know the specifics, but like Bondo dust or something on his clothes. And I had shoved them in the hamper. And it's kind of like a hay bale before it dries out. So it was crazy. It was crazy. But all of those things happened for God setting me up to be where we're at. The loss of my child, if we would have had more biological children, I don't know if we would have stepped into foster care. If we had the house that we were living in before, it was perfect, but just wasn't fit for foster care. So we moved on a modular home and to the location that we were at where the house fire was. And I seen a commercial on TV and we had multiple talks and, there was a lot of people, a lot of God moments. Like I said, I'm sitting in church one day and the pastor was looking at me right in the eye and he's just like, when are you going to walk up to the plate and actually swing? Like, when are you going to stop watching the ball fly by? When are you going to take a swing at it?
He's good with that.
Yeah. So, then that night, we actually we were watching the news and the commercial came on again about foster care. So we'd had many conversations. My kids were in middle school at the time. And next morning I called and I was kind of being stubborn. And I thought, you know what, if I get any pushback, I'm going to just, I'm bailing out, right?
Yeah.
But Vanessa answered the phone and it was like the archangels were speaking to me, and paperwork.
Smooth sailing
Yes.
from here on out.
Yep, absolutely.
What's the population of Center, North Dakota?
Oh, 1,000 people. I graduated in
Maybe.
96 and I graduated with 42 people. So
you had a bigger class than I did.
yeah.
I know 35.
Okay.
Then tripled down to 32 or 33, I think.
Sure. Yeah, right now they co-op with Stanton, and I think their class size is maybe like 9-10 kids per class.
Yeah.
So,
and so your biological kids,
yes.
How did they feel about other kids coming into your house?
Yeah, I got the opportunity to ask how old is your daughter now?
19.
She came into the house when we were kind of talking, and I got to ask her that, and she was kind of like, and I could tell already I was like invasive, and she was like, "Yep, nailed it."
Yep.
Yeah, she was kind of like, "Oh, Mom, why'd you do this?"
Right.
Type thing. It seems like.
So how do you get started as a foster care parent? Like, what is the process?
Yep. Made a phone call to Burleigh County, filled out some paperwork, and then they did like a home assessment type thing.
Just you have to have some kind of special insurance?
No, just regular insurance.
Background checks and everything.
Background checks,
and your home has to be safe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like we had to put fire extinguishers on each level. Made sure that the upper bedrooms had like window ladders, that kind of stuff. But
do you get so they just call you and say, "Hey, I got this kid." Do you get Do you get to pick which kids you want? We do, but it's like somebody sitting there with a cuddly little puppy and saying, "Take me home," right? You know that kid needs a place. You know that you have to make space, make arrangements, make whatever you can do in your own home to welcome that kid in. Do you remember the first kid? I do. She's amazing. She's an assistant manager at Domino's. We talk to her on a daily basis. We adopted her biological sister. Okay. So, yeah, we're very close with the family. Okay. And how long did that person or they live with you? She was with us for 1 year and 4 months. Okay. Yep. And so how does it feel when they leave? Sometimes it's sad and sometimes you want them to leave. Right. Now, who makes the decision for them to leave? It just depends on where they're going, what their next move is. If they're going with a family relative, if they're going back reunification with mom and dad, if they need a treatment level type thing.
So kind of along that same. However, whenever a child turns 18 in your care, yes, do they get to just go free, or are they free to live on their own, or are they still a ward of the state, or is there special circumstances surrounding that? There is. They get to choose. So there's we have a young man right now who's 19. He's out of the foster care system, but he's our forever kid, right? Like he'll come back for all the holidays, all that kind of stuff. But he particularly was 18 in February and didn't graduate high school until May. Yeah. So there's those situations. Yeah. And then the state keeps him in what's called an 18 plus program. Okay. And then we've had other individuals. And then he decided obviously that he wanted to sign up because then, he could stay with us, that type of thing. Because he was actually from the 18 plus program. Yep. Sorry about that. But there's other individuals that if they're not attending school or they got their GED or something like that and they want to just walk away from the system, they don't want somebody making decisions for them anymore, they can do that too. Okay. Go ahead. What's the difference between a group home and a foster home? Yeah, so a group home is more there's residents that reside there. Okay, so they're trying to get away from a lot of the group homes. There's Dakota Boys and Girls Ranch and then Home on the Range, and Manchester House is still one, but a lot of times you need severe behaviors
before you can get into like a group home.
Okay.
Most of the time they want to keep them with a family, obviously. But if the child is, you know, of age or older of age, I had a 17-year-old young lady who clocked me across the chin on Valentine's Day. And she actually went to Dakota Boys and Girls Ranch and got some treatment, got some therapy, did amazing, and she's doing great now. So
how did that affect you?
I was shocked. I was shocked. I couldn't believe it. So she got suspended from school that day, and I picked her up at noon. She came home. She slept all day long. I ran to daycare, picked up the kids by like 5:30, came home, was making supper, and I had asked her a couple times, excuse me, to just do the dishes. And she laid in bed the whole time. So come back from daycare and making supper, and she's still in bed. So about 7 o'clock at night, I went in and I flipped on her bedroom light and I pulled her top cover off of her and I said, okay, let's go. It's time. I said, you sat on the pity pot long enough. Let's get up and do something, right? And she got up out of bed and just clocked me across the chin. I kind of stepped back and I hollered for my husband. I'm like, she just punched me. So... And then again, like I was talking to you about this, like you have to follow through. Like you just can't say, oh, it's okay that you punch someone. Like you have to follow through. So I had to press charges. We had to call the cops, and then she had to leave to go to Dakota Boys and Girls Ranch. So
okay. What kind of funding do foster parents get?
So whopping, okay? Just to let you know, everyone take a breath, because we make $28 a day.
Wow.
Yeah. $28 a day is what you get per kid. So if you're going into foster care to make money, just back out right now, because it's never going to happen.
Do they give you food?
Nope.
No SNAP or nothing like that?
Nope, nothing like that, because our income doesn't qualify for SNAP.
Yeah.
Yep. And it doesn't matter how many foster kids you have or anything. Now, if you have babies, they can get WIC to 5 years old. Yep.
Okay.
So usually like the formula.
So you usually have like teenagers?
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
And a lot of times, like, we want these kids to be normal kids. So we buy them the Nike shoes. We buy them the Columbia North Face coats. Like, I live in the school district where we're at Century. You know, you can't send a kid to school with, you know, ratted clothes. And I mean, you want the best for them, right? You want them to be as normal as possible, right? Even though they're coming from trauma and a background of, or a history of not so healthy.
Right.
So we give them what we can. So they have cell phones. They're on our plan. Most of them, we will get them driving, and then we support them with a car. Now, a lot of foster parents don't do that because we have to pay for insurance on that.
Right.
So
when it comes down to end of the year tax time, are they considered a dependent?
So if they're with you in your home for 6 months and 1 day, so more than half of the year, then you can use them as a dependent.
Okay. And so all the stuff that you buy from them, that becomes a write-off.
If you can itemize, yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
No, it's just questions.
No, absolutely. I love it. Yeah.
So what do you feel is harder to deal with, a girl or a boy? Teenager.
Teenagers, probably a girl.
No, I'm saying your from your experience.
It's a horse apiece. I mean, it just depends on their trauma, and it depends on their behavior. Yeah.
It just depends on what's fueling them.
Yeah. Like the girls are a little bit more snotty. The boys are more destructive. You know what I mean?
Angry.
Yeah. Yep. So the girls, they'll be just calling you nasty names and, you know, that kind of thing. But the boys, they'll like slam a door so it comes through the other side, because that's happened a couple times. Yeah.
You had a big break. Your one of your boys was like a linebacker, wasn't he?
Yeah. Yeah. He stood, towered over me. Yeah, he was the one who broke my kitchen sink. I mean, just walked up and broke the faucet.
So, there's other foster care homes that you are associated with.
Yes, I mentor a lot.
Yeah. Yep. So do a lot of them take kind of the same approach that you do when it comes to fostering kids, like when they're, you know, hitting a certain age and driving and, you know, the things that you do? Do they kind of follow that path?
Some. Yep, some of them do. It is a higher risk if you put a kid on your insurance. So I have a really good insurance guy, and he's very helpful when it comes to that. So, but don't get me wrong, I don't put every teenager that gets their license. We don't give them a car.
You have to kind of weigh
exactly
they're ready for that. What they're responsible enough.
Exactly.
I can see that.
For instance, we just had a young man in the house, a 15-year-old, very autistic. He actually wanted to stab me. So that was a situation where he needed to go to a therapeutic home. But
were you bobbing and weaving, or like how did
we were around the kitchen table? Yeah. But
it's like a temper flare. Now you said something.
Yeah.
Just get right past it. We gotta rewind a little.
I mean,
he wanted a phone.
You have patience still.
Nah. I just been through some stuff. Yeah.
You've been through some.
Yeah. He wanted a phone. And he had only been with us for a short time at that point. And I said, you know what? We have to see how your behavior is in 30 days. We have to see what your grades are like, having this conversation with them. Right. Exactly. Yeah. Yep. I was like, we have to earn this trust between us. Right. And he was not liking that answer. And he just wanted a phone. Again, he was autistic, and when they get fixated on something, they can't let it go. So,
do you sleep with your door locked?
Sometimes, yes. So right now, right now we have a 4-year-old.
I'm painting a visual of all this going on in your house.
Yeah, we have a 4-year-old who's very high needs. He's a little lover though. Love him to death. He, just very high maintenance, like ADHD, bouncing off the walls, that kind of thing. But of course, I don't sleep with my door locked. I don't even sleep with my door shut right now because if he needs to come in and get us, we're there and we're available for him. But at some times, yes, was I talking to you? I don't remember who I was talking to, but my 19-year-old daughter, a couple years ago, we had a young man in the same age as my daughter, and just knowing that young man's history, and we knew we were only going to have him for about 3 to 4 days because it was only shelter care, but I made my daughter sleep downstairs with me in my bed. We locked the door, and my husband slept on the couch.
So just in case trauma there.
Yeah.
Abusive trauma.
Yeah. There was. So, but yes, I did everything to protect my family. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's brave. That's mighty brave of you. You put yourself in a position where you want to help kids and, try to give them a safe place to be, but you're also putting your safety at risk to, do something like that. So that's mighty brave.
And I will tell you, in these 7 years, these kids are getting harder and harder and harder.
Generational curses are breaking and making now.
Yes.
You ever found drugs in your house? Or a kid?
Yep.
No?
Yep. In backpacks. Yep.
Any overdoses?
Nope. No overdoses, thankfully.
Okay.
I've attended 2 funerals of my foster kids, though. One from an overdose. She wasn't in my house. And then one, my son, he was a bad diabetic, and he just went into DKA and went to sleep and didn't wake up. He was 21. That just happened. Yeah.
So, so you said you travel and train other foster parents?
I'm a mentor for them. Yeah.
Right. How many foster kids is there in the state of North Dakota?
Over 1,500 right now.
1,500. And that a foster. What does make a person a person that needs foster care? Like, they don't have any parents, they don't have any grandparents.
Yeah, they
keep getting in trouble.
Yeah, yep. Neglect. So these last individuals that I had, and just even this little 4-year-old, mom is doing amazing right now. She just went through recovery. She's doing great, but she, fell to the bottle and to drugs and neglected to take care of him. And then the state steps in and says, we're going to put him in a foster home until you can get what you need to do. Yep.
Right.
And she's doing great.
You do something with biological moms, bioparents that some people really weren't too fond of doing before. Like I've seen it so many times and heard it so many times where women say, I can't get my kid back from them. They will not let me see them.
Yeah.
And you are pro when it comes to
reunification.
Reunification. Let's interact with bio mom, bio dad, and see, how we can help them to get them where they need. I heard you saying that on the phone, and I was like, I gotta talk to her. I just have to talk to her, like, and I'm like, did she just say that? And now I gotta know what's going on, And so
they're not my kids. I am there to help and support and guide them as much as I can. Mm-hmm. But they're not my kids. God gave them to their parents for a reason. Yeah. Those parents need help getting straight. Mm-hmm. They need you. Mm-hmm. They need
you.
they need to know that
you can mess up and then you can keep going and have kids back.
It's okay to fail. Right. Yeah. It's okay to fail. Yeah. But they have to get back on and they have to move forward. And there is people out there that judge. There's people out there that, are like, oh, those parents are losers. They should never get their kids back. Mm-hmm. No. Mm-hmm. No.
Stop with that block.
Exactly.
It's just in a box thinking.
Right. Yeah. Right. So, I work very hard on reunification.
Can I ask you something that's kind of off the wall? So when you see people that are like that, how do you handle
that? What do you need? How can I help you?
Yeah. Because
when I see somebody judging somebody else,
judgmental when it makes the situation a little harder. You know what I mean? Because you know where that's going to go. Yep. That situation with bio mom or dad is going to get 10 times worse. Yep. And it's going to be even harder for them, and it could possibly turn them back the other direction to where we've seen people who that's all they want is their kids, and they can't have them, and then they go back to relapse. They go back to drugs or alcohol. Yep. Well, F it, I can't have my kids. What am I worth living for? Right. So what do you do in that situation when you you have foster parents that are, oh man, we got to watch out for them. Yeah. You almost put that judgmental mind on it, right?
A little bit. Yep. Yeah. Yep. Because they're not in their right mind as far as judging the other person. Right. They have no idea what that individual went through. They have no idea what they're going through. I mean, they don't know what that person's hurdles are. Mm-hmm. And then to sit there and judge them and pick them apart, that's horrible.
It's terrible.
Yes. So, I mean, I try to mentor. I try to talk to them. I try to, kind of like, I don't know, I'm being silly now, but when someone says like, oh, look at that guy, he looks so funny. I'd be like, that's my brother. Why are you talking about him? Just playing with them. Right. But just to, to kind of put him in their place. Like, he's something to me. Why do you have to do that? Does that make sense? Kind of? Yeah.
Yeah. You kind of put the devil's advocate to paint the picture of the whole situation.
Yes.
It's like, well, if you think this of me, then you think that of me too.
Right. Yeah. Right. I actually just posted something on Facebook about how there's this mother that's dealing with this little guy, and the little guy was maybe having a little bit of behavior issues or whatever, but this mother's like, it's okay, honey, we'll go get you a treat and we'll go get you a stuffed animal and this and that and whatever. And there's this old bitty lady, playing a Karen right here and saying something like, oh, these parents just give in to these kids and, she just needs to be, disciplined and all this kind of stuff, right? Well, you go back 10 minutes and this little guy just got removed from his mom and dad. He just came into foster care. He's meeting this lady for the very first time. I mean, you don't know the whole picture, right? So don't be judging anybody.
Yeah. Right. When we went to... Was it when we went to Florida? There was that little baby right in front of us. The lady, older lady and older man had a little 2-year-old maybe, I think. And this little girl just was throwing a fit the whole time. I mean, in the Bismarck airport, and the woman had her in her car seat, wheeling her, doing everything she could, and you can tell the lady is just getting fed up because she will not stop screaming on the flight. She's doing everything she can to put her to sleep, wake her up, and finally when we landed, I just had to say to her, because I've been watching this the whole time, and I get loud screaming noises. Please help me. And I finally just had to say to her, I can't remember what I asked her, but I said, Grandma, Grandpa, I take it, or something. And she was like, yeah. She was like, she's got to go to my other daughter, my daughter, she's a drinker, and she just laid it all on the line. You could tell this woman was just
exhausted from
and torn apart, and you can see that she loves her, because then she's like, being compassionate and stuff like that when she can, but then just has moments of like almost fit and rage where she's like, sit down now. So, and it's getting like, oh, just let us get there, and I just want to just like give her a hug, and that's another situation where it's like, if I wouldn't have been open to seeing that situation, if I would have been like, hey, can you just calm your kid down?
Right, exactly.
And I would have never have experienced that at all and got to see that, and it was like, some people go actually to help kids, and it's amazing.
What's the most kids you ever had at one time?
9.
9?
9 in the house.
Do you keep?
It's full 9.
Is that you?
Yeah.
Is that usually a number that you?
No. For a couple of years we were, 6, 7, a lot. Now we're old.
Okay.
And slow.
Yeah.
And so we've dialed it down. And again, like
and
I
who
said,
cooks?
I do.
Okay.
Not good, but I cook.
Well, how?
I'll have more spicy things.
There you go.
There you go.
Oh, how was the transition from getting into foster care, like learning how to cook for more people?
Yeah, that was kind of interesting.
Like,
still,
they all eat at one, like dinner time.
Times I pray that happens, but it doesn't always happen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do y'all all pray together?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Go to
Bedtime
church.
Yep. Evangel.
Yep. Have you seen me there?
I haven't.
Yeah.
I know we talked about it too, but
we'll be there Sunday.
Okay. I'll be there Sunday.
Yep.
9 a.m. or 10:45.
All of them.
All of them. Okay.
Yep. Me and my son do camera.
He's been on camera, and then he's the moving camera, the one that travels around the stage.
No, well then we always sit when you walk in, way to the right hand side, up a little bit.
Oh, okay. You're in the risers a little.
Yeah, up a little bit. Yep. Not on the floor. We're up a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll have a blinking light on me so you can see me.
Okay.
Now I'm playing.
Sweatshirt on Sunday.
I wanna ask Daily Love to come sit in. No, and talk about his experience at Home on the Range. Were you in foster care?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm gonna have
why do you keep calling?
because that's the name of his company.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. So we're gonna have Derek come sit in for a few minutes.
Right here.
No, he's gonna come sit in for a few minutes, and I want you to kind of talk about your experience with foster care and the Home on the Range.
All right. Christian's gonna be the man behind the plan.
All right.
Hi, Derek.
Hi.
So what?
So good to be here.
Foster care.
I was in foster care a lot, like probably there's a few times I was in foster care. My mom was a drinker, and she has a couple DUIs with me and my sister in the car.
Mm-hmm.
So we had a couple of foster homes that were like, I always felt like they didn't really like us. It was like they were. I was yeah. They were. I remember one guy. I was just thinking about it. Like he had a few foster kids, I think, and like I remember he pulled me by my ear and drug me. Like
Aww.
that was one thing I remember. But I was at Home on the Range I was a bad kid. So
that's why you pulled on your ear. No, I'm just kidding.
No, that's when I was like a teenager. I was always stealing stuff.
So were you put in foster care at like a really young age for the first time?
Yeah, I would stay with my aunt for a few years. I'd stay with my aunt for my aunt had custody of me and my sister for a while, and I want to say it was like 2004, so I was about 8, so I was like 12, or no, it was 2000. I don't know.
Before you were a teenager.
Yeah, it was like when I was probably 7, 8.
Wow, that was kind of tough. Was that tough?
Oh, I just finally overcome all my trauma. I think just like recently.
Now we're bringing it all up again, right?
No.
So where was Dad at?
My dad passed away when I was like 4.
I'm sorry.
Like when I've seen a picture of him for the first time in like 28. No, it was like 2016 maybe. Yeah.
That's right.
He was climbing a tree, I guess trying to get it was when I was 4. It was he was climbing a tree trying to get a football out of the tree and he fell, broke his neck. So yeah, I was raised by women, and
Your aunt, your mom, your sister.
yeah. Well, I kind of
Is your sister older than you?
my sister's younger, so
Okay.
I kind of looked after her, and
Okay.
So you've had a kind of a painted past.
oh yeah,
Drugs.
I was at Home Range I was in the Charles Hall for 2 times.
My sister was there too.
Yeah,
They've closed Charles Hall down
Yeah.
now.
No,
Yeah.
it's native.
Blake's house.
Blake's
Yeah.
house, yeah.
Well, the one I was on Divide is at Blake's house, but yeah, I was at Home Range for 16 months,
Okay.
and then I went to Job Corps. Or no, I stayed with my aunt and uncle in Lincoln, and then went to Job Corps to get off DJS because I was on DJS. I was on probation for like 4 years, and then I went there, and I ended up getting kicked out of there, and I went and stayed with my mom, and
So what made you like act out and like go do all these things?
well, my mom
What were you thinking?
My mom was like started doing drugs. Like after she like got done doing alcohol, she like switched to meth, and so she was gone out of the house for like a week at a time. And I just was like, I didn't like at first. I wasn't like into my whole story, but I was poor. We were poor, and so like I wanted to have things like soda and candy and video games, and so I just was like, man, I was thinking like, there's got to be a way I can get these things without like stealing them. So I was like, okay, I'm just gonna. And I figured out a thing at this place to how to steal. Like I stole so much. I got so many charges for stealing, and well, I got away with a lot, and it was bad. And
Did you get like an adrenaline rush or a high when you got away with the stuff?
Oh yeah. It was like even now when I walk through like beepers at Walmart, I'm just like, but I'll never steal again. Like I haven't stolen. Like when I was all on drugs, I would steal every time I went into a store.
I didn't even have to go in the store.
It was ridiculous.
Stealing.
The kids right now, like I said, they're just so tough. And it's like they come into our home and they're just bitter. They're just angry. They're just, and I get it. I understand what trauma is. I understand what their background has been like. I get it. But, so we had a 9-year-old, actually 2 9-year-olds. One was a little boy and one was a little girl. And the little boy walked right past our bathroom and walked into my daughter's bedroom and just peed all over the floor. Like, tried to write his name all over the floor. And then we had a 9-year-old little girl who she would come and she would sit on the couch and just wet all over. And then she was one of them that was just throwing shoes at the window. And I was like, what are you doing? And she's like, I'm trying to break your window. I'm like, what?
Behavior to get somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
How long were you in the system?
I was in the system for, I would say.
Well, you must have aged out if you.
Yeah. Well, I was like on. I was in the system a long time, like my whole life. Like even when I was turned into an adult, I was on probation, and it's probably I want to say 20 years, maybe. It was crazy. Like
brutal.
I went to prison 3 times, and like was on drugs. I couldn't stay sober, and I just kept getting revocated for not, like being homeless and not being able to, not having anywhere to go. Like, where am I gonna get a job, and where am I gonna shower, and then so just
you said you were homeless for quite some time.
Yeah, for like probably like 8 years.
8 years, and
I survived like 2 winters out here.
Oh my goodness!
I was sleeping in the stairwell at Ramkota.
Oh.
I sometimes visit that stairwell. Just smell. It still smells the same.
Yeah.
It smells like carpet cleaner.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess I asked, like, how did you survive? Like, what did you do?
Yeah.
And
I just was like staying at trap houses or just make yourself if you don't, you have to figure out a way to provide value to people that have a house or whatever. Just
Right.
But yeah, I was in YCC 3 times, and yeah, I want to go to back to Home and Range and like speak and be a positive voice for kids that are.
You should.
Yeah,
Are you ready?
I think so.
And when you do it on the weekend, baby.
Well, I have to if I work.
Where is Home on the Range?
It's in the beach. It's like in Sentinel Beach.
South
By Medora.
Dickinson. Oh, yeah, by Medora.
It's like 15 minutes away from the Montana border.
Yep. That's Dakota Boys and Girls Ranch.
Okay.
Yep, that's up there.
It's so sad and like devastating too to think like even the change from like when I grew up to like how he's growing up, you know, it's just so drastic on like I keep saying
phones and oh my.
Yeah, and I keep saying generational curses, you know, because so a lot of us are doing everything that we can to stop it right here, right now, you know, and if I'd known, if I had a glimpse of my life today, then I knew what I know now, I would have never, I don't think, made those mistakes because certain things you just can't get back, you know, and some of the kids are just, they're going to, feel that hurt and they're going to continue on with that, you know, and like you're doing things to make that not be a thing, you know, and it's great. It's great. It's great, but there's a lot of sadness behind all that. A lot of trauma stuff, like the one that you told me, like just still breaks my heart. I can't stop thinking about it.
There's joy too, because we have a 6-year-old daughter that was our second foster kid, and we adopted her. So she has blessed us in so many ways. You can't even, and she's a miracle baby. She was born at 27 weeks, 3 days gestation with meth, heroin, marijuana, and nicotine in her system. She was 1 pound, 6 ounces.
Yeah, 27
weeks, 3 days. Yep, 27 weeks, 3 days gestation. And she's a miracle. I mean, she lived in the NICU for the first 3 months. We got her, and we were only supposed to have her for the weekend. That's how the system works too, right? Like, just take her for the weekend and... Yeah, right? And she was 5 pounds, 9 ounces at 3 months old. And we had to get up like every hour to feed her. At 5 months old, she stopped breathing on me and I resuscitated her 4 times. And now she's 6 and the CEO of our house. I mean, she tells her 22-year-old brother what to do.
So you have 4 kids at home?
3. Yep. So my 22-year-old son, Brian, 19-year-old daughter, Olivia, and then my 6-year-old daughter, Taylor. Okay. Oh, and our foster baby. Yep. That's what I thought. 4 kids at the house. Yep.
Okay. Yep. Okay. I was, because you mentioned a little boy.
Yep. He's our little foster. Yep. Yeah.
How many kids have you adopted?
Just 1.
Okay.
Yep. We were planning on adopting or moving forward with adoption for a little guy that we had for about 2.5 years, and things fell through. The tribe kind of got involved and different things that happened. So
okay. Derek, do you have any questions or advice on your experience being in the foster care system and things of that nature for Amber?
I was curious, how does your company work? Is it like, are you like the head of like multiple foster families that are like you?
What Haven Hills is we're trying to develop a community of homes, basically. So I would like to build 12 homes and put licensed foster families in each one of those homes. And then they have to have the individuals, they have, if it's a 2-parent house, so like a husband-wife or husband-husband or wife-wife, we need them to take at least 4 foster kids, okay? Because we're going to provide them with a 4,000 square foot home, and then they can have as many biological, as many adopted, whatever, but they have to take 4 foster kids, okay? We'll provide pretty much everything for them in the house. They can have their own decor, that kind of stuff. They run their own schedule, they can have their own jobs, they can do whatever they want to do. But living out in the community, your next door neighbor knows exactly what is going on. Like, there was multiple times we talked about this. I just needed someone to take my kiddo for an hour. Just Go take her for a walk. Go shoot some baskets with him. Just get him out of the house because he is so dysregulated right now. He or she is so dysregulated right now that I need some help. And if I stay talking to him or her, it's just going to escalate things. I mean, did you ever get in an argument and then like it just wasn't getting better? It just kept getting worse and worse and worse. Mm-hmm. So you have to just step away from that situation. So by having your next door neighbor know exactly what's going on, they can step in. They maybe they had a bad, it's called a team meeting. I'm sure you had multiple of these. Every 3 months, the entire team gets together and makes decisions for you, right? So sometimes they don't listen to what the foster parents say, and the foster parents know the most about the kid, right? So maybe that foster parent is having a bad day and they're like, hey, we just had a really bad meeting, or, you know, mom's not doing well and now we're going to move back to square one and this and that, right? So that mom needs a break. So it's like, hey, okay, I'll take the kiddos. The next door neighbor is like, you know, drawing the bubble bath and opening the, you know, can of Coke or whatever needs to happen, right? But another big thing out at Haven Hills, along with the support for the foster parents, we're going to have all of the on-site therapies. So like OT, PT, speech, equestrian therapy, pet therapy, all of those are going to happen right there. The kids that are going through trauma, and have behaviors, if you can address these situations like immediately, they reach the milestones and they excel so much faster. And then we're going to have lots of amenities too, like a small little movie theater, we have a swimming pool, little basketball courts, just a 3-lane bowling alley, a community.
Is that in Bismarck?
Yeah, well, about 10 miles north is where we plan to put it. Yep.
Oh, so it's going to be built, or you're trying?
We're trying to build it. We're fundraising right now, and spreading the word and trying to get things. But along with that, we're going to have a couple tiny homes to put some kiddos that are aging out, like that 18 plus, that can live independently, but yet need the support of a community. So maybe they don't have enough finances yet to move out on their own. Yeah. We can keep them there in the tiny homes and they can go to work every day, but you know, they have the support of us, right? I have a story of a young lady who was human trafficked, and she came to my house weighing 85 pounds. She was 5'9", drop dead gorgeous, beautiful. And she aged to 18 in my home, and we moved her out into an apartment by herself, and she was doing great. I mean, she was an amazing cook. My children would actually ask her, she had an alias, we called her Raven. It was not her real name, but we called her Raven, and Brennan would say, Raven, can you make food before mom gets home? Because Raven was an amazing cook, and I just cook, but not amazing. Anyway, so then we moved Raven out to an apartment by herself, and remember the lifestyle she came from, the solitary got to her. Yep. Yeah. And we lost her in about 3 months, and I couldn't find her again. We went to her apartment. Her kitty was in there. Nobody had been in there for quite a while, and I found her later on Facebook. Actually, I just talked to her yesterday, and I said, what happened? And she felt like she failed me. And I know that I failed her because I pushed her to live in this apartment by herself. And she said, Amber, I needed the chaos of your home. I needed the family. I needed to be around people. And when I moved into that apartment, it was too quiet. She said it didn't matter if I had the radio on, the TV on, it was too quiet. Mm-hmm. And I felt like I failed her. She's doing amazing now. She's doing fantastic. Talk to her a lot. But that then geared me to, we need to have a place for these 18-year-olds that can live independently, but know right next door we are always there. Yep. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Amen to that. So each of these foster kids, they have a caseworker?
Yes.
From the state?
Yep.
Is it like, do some caseworkers have like multiple kids that are at your house? Like, or it's like the same people, or keep the caseworkers are the same, or there are a bunch of different ones?
Bunch of different ones. So if you go through a private agency called PATH, each foster home only deals with one social worker.
Okay.
But otherwise, like when I had 9 kids in the house, I had 9 different social workers because each social worker had a different kiddo.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
Yeah. So it just depends on what your situation is.
Okay. Any other questions, Daily Love?
Well, like, how do you plan? Who are you trying to contact? Like, are you talking to like big companies in Bismarck and?
Yep.
Yeah, that'd be nice. I
Anybody?
feel like that should be there's a good thing to get behind. If I had money, I would
Get behind.
fundraise.
Thanks.
You guys said something about a gala that was.
Yeah, we were going to. Yep, we kind of put the brakes on that for a little bit. We fell through with a little bit of sponsorship. And then my foster son had died and it really took a toll on things. And so we were just not in the right position for it at that moment. But yep, we got a few fundraising things. I speak at a lot of churches. We have different people in the community that are definitely, we have one lady who's amazing who sends us a check every single month. So she's God sent. That's what she is.
Yeah.
And you are too.
Yeah. Just trying to do his work.
Right. Is there some certain individuals or kids or teenagers that kind of like stuck with you?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
What are some of the happiest times of being a foster parent?
Yeah, well, so we've graduated 4 kids.
Okay.
Watching them walk across the graduation stage and knowing that I shouldn't say not knowing, but I feel that we had a huge part in helping them get across that stage. If they would have, continued to make bad decisions or continue to give up, they would not be where they are. So that was super happy for all of us. Adopting my daughter was probably one of the happiest times. Just seeing the pure joy and love that my family, even my mom and dad and my aunts and uncles, everyone that has for Taylin, it melts my heart. And then we've reunified quite a few kids. We're still in contact with a family, lives out at United Tribes, and we still take, the 4 kids on weekends here and there and, as much as we can. But, we went through kindergarten graduations and we went through, a lot of milestones, and that was during COVID too. So, oh my gosh, doing homeschooling with kindergartners, not a homeschool teacher by any means, but, lots and lots of joy. Lots of joy.
What's your go-to dish to cook for?
Tater tot hot dish.
Yeah. Not the tater tot hot dish.
Hot dish.
Do you have like any requests from some of the kids?
Not so much. No. I mean, chili, I think my chili is a big hit. A lot of times they'll want that, but the little 4-year-old right now, all he talks about is Pop-Tarts, and we don't even have Tarts in the house, so I don't know where he gets that, but yeah.
Well, amen to that. How do you get free time?
I come on radio shows.
Oh, okay.
Or podcast shows.
Do you get to take vacations or anything? Like you and your husband go anywhere? Or?
Not very often. I do travel for my job. Mm-hmm. I travel to New Jersey a lot. Travel to Florida a lot.
What part?
Florida, Miami Lakes, and then New Jersey, Somerset.
Okay.
Yeah.
We got some people from Florida watching right now.
Hello, Florida. Miami Lakes. Hialeah is actually where I was at.
Okay.
Yeah, so I get to. My husband is a big snowmobiler, so his season's coming up. So he'll be leaving on the weekends. He actually left to go deer hunting today. So
okay.
Yeah, we take time for ourselves. That's one of the things that I do when I mentor for the foster parents is, you need to take a break when you need to take it. And that's not admitting failure. That's not admitting that you can't do this. That's just saying, hey, I need a break.
A little quick time up.
Yep. Like I said, these kids are getting harder and harder. They're don't get me wrong, but they're ungrateful. and they don't see it until they mature and step out of the situation, and then they come back. And I think that's another happy moment. We've had quite a few adults now come back and be like, hey, thanks. We've been doing this long enough that we get the, without you, I don't know where I'd be. So that's means a lot.
Yeah.
Well, it means a lot to us for you to come on this show and take your time. And I want to thank my fiance because you guys met, and she said, I got somebody we should get on there. So that's a beautiful thing.
Yes.
And
I'm grateful I got to meet her too. So
great conversation.
Yes.
Haven Hills, folks, foster care community. They're fundraising right now. If you're interested in being a foster parent or just donating to the cause, and you have something in your hearts telling you that you want to be a part of that, help build tiny homes or whatever, you can contact Haven Hills. Yep. How does someone contact you?
Just www.havenhillscommunity.org.
Okay.
Go on the website. My number's on there. Reach out. Yeah, please.
Any shout outs?
Thank you to all you guys. Thank you to my husband for tolerating all of this. We've been married for 25 years now.
Okay.
Sometimes I feel like I sucker him into a lot of things he doesn't want to do, but and thank you to my kids. My children, even though going into this, everyone was on board, they've had a lot of challenges with keeping sanity.
Yeah.
So.
Well, God bless you.
Thank you.
And I thank you from the bottom of my heart for what you do and taking the time to come on the show.
Thank you.
Any big plans for the weekend?
No, pretty laying low. Like I said, husband's up deer hunting, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
big one.
Yeah.
Well, I hope to see you Sunday at Evangel.
I'll be there. Yes.
I'll be there. Any shout outs or any last words?
Thank you, Amber. I appreciate you coming to sit with us and your insight. I myself was in foster care too, so it's different, things have changed, and so I gotta remember I can let that go.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Tomorrow, folks, Sober Talk will be broadcasting live from the Kirkwood Mall from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. If you're in the area, stop by. You can jump on the mic. If you got some things to say, you can check out the new merch, or you can check out the raffle, or you can just come say hi. And so that's all day. And we're pulling another ticket from the raffle box. And so tomorrow we'll be pulling for one bike. We got 2 girls, 2 kids, cruisers, custom, 1 blue, 1 pink. So tomorrow we'll be pulling for the pink bike at the end of the day at Kirkwood Mall. So come check us out. But I want to thank everybody for watching every week. Shout out to Tied for Second, Sober Living, PRC, New Freedom Center, J Dobo, Preferred Heating and Air, the House of Fade. Thank you for all the support. Treasures of the Sea and Earth. Everyone that shows love to Sober Talk. A lot of events coming up and more to come. If anyone has any ideas or would like to be a guest on the show or would like to donate to the show, feel free to reach out to us. And I want to thank Daily Love for what he does. And he is the production guy behind the scenes, and for him stepping up to the plate to talk a little bit about his life, because he is a man of mystery. And he's single, folks. So yeah, you're on the next raffle. But thanks everybody for tuning in. If you can't stay sober, catch a Uber. Think about the kids and the other families out there. In the words of my great grand sponsor, Jack Height, if